All right, what is up everybody? It's your boy Tim, Mr. Meaningful Work, and I am super excited for this video series, the What's Humanly Possible. I am geeked up, fanboying out. I have been smiling the entire trip coming out here because I am joined by the Queen of Hearts, if you will. The Queen of Heart herself, Claude Silver. Claude, what's up, girl?
What's up, man? Mr. Meaningful Work and Queen of Hearts, they meet again.
Yeah, they meet again.
I'm stoked.
An awesome opportunity. We shared a stage out in wine country earlier this year at the Talent Development Think Tank, and as this thing came up with the What's Humanly Possible video series and talking about human resources, engagement, talent acquisition. I mean, the first thing I was like, we got to talk to the Queen of Hearts. I think that we're gonna have hashtag Queen of Hearts. That's gonna be your thing. But we wanted to talk to you a little about your story, your perspectives on how to keep heart at the center of how we bring people on, how we keep them, how we grow and develop them. And we're going to kind of have a format where I love storytelling, and I'm sure you do as well, as part of how you communicate. And so the way we're going to do this, we're going to set it up with an origin story, right? Every story has a hero, the protagonist, you have the antagonist, the arch nemesis, the person that has to be victored over, and then you have a challenge, something you have to go through. And so we're going to kind of walk through that for the series. But let us start with the hero story, the origin story. Tell us your origin story.
I love it. I'm a big Joseph Campbell fan, so the hero's journey just speaks to me. What can I say? I was actually born in New York City, the city in which we're in.
Yeah.
And when I was 12, we moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. So can you imagine coming from
big
Metropolis to brown adobe,
Yeah.
and I think we were one of 3 Jewish families there.
Man.
But it was the best thing my parents could have done, I'll definitely say. I've got a younger brother, he's 18 months younger.
Nice.
We are tight as thick as thieves, which is awesome. He's always been my cheerleader. My parents are amazing, very, very generous, giving people, charitable people. So I was raised in that type of atmosphere where you give, you are of service. It's not even, you don't think twice about it. I sucked at school. I was so challenged with school. I was diagnosed with dyslexia, which obviously a lot of people are. And back then they didn't really have the tools to help. So I just tried, and I spent so much time trying to overcome my weaknesses that I think I ended up really kind of self-defeating myself in a way. I happened to be a great athlete. So I had that working for me, which helped with confidence, and a great friend and whatnot. And Santa Fe was amazing. I mean, Santa Fe's small. That's the one thing I can say. So everyone kind of knows your biz. Anyway, school was a challenge. I should never have gone to college. I just didn't have any options. So I got in on the waiting list to the one college, and I went, and away I went. It was Rollins College in Florida, and thank God I could play tennis. But let me tell you, the bad boys, bad decisions, bad drugs really found their way to me. And I was like, after my sophomore year, whoa, Mom, Dad, I need a massive timeout.
Breaks.
And so I said to my parents, I need to find the longest outdoor course I could find. And Santa Fe, being in Santa Fe, the wilderness, the outdoors, hiking, camping, all that stuff is just in your blood. So be careful what you ask for. I found a 93-day wilderness leadership program Outward Bound was running in Colorado. So I was 19, and I was the only young woman with 9 young men, all 18, 19, 20. And we all carried 80, 85 pounds on our back.
Man.
We were gone for 93 days. This is 1991. No cell phone. Snail mail. Every 18 days, you got a resupply. You got to use the pay phone.
What's that?
And you got a shower. A real shower.
Tell me more.
You got to use toilet paper. I'm talking, I was roughing it. But it is what I needed to get my butt kicked. Because I had gotten myself into this trough of Claude, is not going to go anywhere. And I knew Claude was going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So thankfully, this course, 93 days, I come out of it a much stronger person.
I love it.
Confident, knowing that I wanted to be a servant leader.
Yeah.
And a really quick story, though,
Yeah.
that I think is impactful because it really speaks to how I then learned to control this narrative,
Yeah.
which is really a key. First day, we're all climbing 1,000 feet. We're in the Colorado. It's October. It's snowing like cats and dogs. And I am way behind the pack, as you can imagine. Remember, bad decisions, bad drugs, bad boys. So I had like a lot of demons inside of me. The instructor comes all the way down because I'm really falling behind, and I'm just praying I break my leg. Please let me break my leg. Please let me break my leg. Oh, let me twist my ankle.
Yeah.
She goes, what's going on in your head? And I said to her, well, I'm singing that song, you know, head like a hole, black as your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. She goes, you better get another song in your head.
Wow.
And that was the minute that still stays with me today.
Yeah.
That I can control this. If I tell myself I'm a dummy, energy follows
Everything
thought.
will follow through.
Yeah. If I tell myself I'm a work in progress, if I tell myself I'm here to be of joyful service and be a kind, it all manifests.
Yeah.
So careful what you think.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, I came out of that, and I ended up graduating from college at 28 with a lot of psychology, human behavior. But in those years between 20 and 28, I dabbled in spirituality, and clairvoyancy, and chakra healing, and the hero's journey, and anything I could get my hands on to help me understand human behavior. And then understand the greater, the macro. But I really needed to understand why I punished myself for so long, why I chose to do things that had such a negative effect on me. I'm so glad I went through that at a young age. I really, really am. And then once I graduated at 28, I was in San Francisco. It was 1998, and the world opened up. But I needed that piece of paper. Now, by the way, I don't think anyone needs that piece of paper today. But back in those days,
completely changed.
I mean, I removed the need for anyone to have a college education here. But I did back then. And then the world opened up, and I was in the right place, right time. It was the digital world. And away I went and started my careers, I would say.
I absolutely love that because, when you talk about an origin story, you think of your superheroes, you think of your conquerors, there's always this thing where they came out of something, right? So whether it's, Bruce Wayne and his parents getting shot and, all those things and like that, or, Superman and his planet blows up, right? So there's always this thing that happens, and it sounds like for you, as you were going through schooling and going through the challenges, that you, even in those dark times, you were able to express that self-awareness that this isn't working, I need something else. Right? Even in those dark moments, and so how would you, for folks that are kind of going through that, whether it's in their professional lives or their personal lives and kind of in that dark, crumbling space of how do I still connect with, I need to do something different versus just staying in that crumble spot?
I mean, some big ones right there is doing something outside of yourself. Like it's very difficult to get out of that self-pity victimhood. But if you go to a soup kitchen, if you go, dig plants up and whatever you want to do, go do something, go feed the animals. Do something that's bigger than yourself, because for that moment, you forget your own BS. And you're a part of something that's really living and breathing. That was huge for me. So volunteer work was really huge. Spirituality, seeking out things. During the pandemic, who knew that we were going to have 2.5 years of just kind of being solo? To read or learn how to knit and learn how to paint and all of that stuff. But if you think about it, that stuff that we learned in the pandemic is actually what I'm talking about. When you are feeling stuck, the way to get unstuck is to pick up the phone and to let someone in. The way to get unstuck is to do something bigger than yourself. The way to get unstuck is maybe to, get a hobby. So there's all of these things life presents to us, and we have this incredible fortune of being able to pick and choose. Sometimes there's too many options.
Yeah.
But in those moments of just dire, like, this sucks.
Yeah.
God, I can't stand myself.
Yeah.
Please pick up the phone.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. And let someone in. Let someone know before you self-destruct and it's too late.
Yeah.
Because there's support for all of us. You know, if you think about it, people wake up in the morning, because I do this, people wake up in the morning thinking about you.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
They're already rooting for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you wake up in the morning rooting for your family,
Yeah.
rooting for your friends, rooting for your college roommate.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah.
But we forget that. We feel like we're so alone in this world.
Yeah. I love that. So when you're stuck in your head, get out of your head.
Yeah,
And
like-
go and connect with others or
Yeah.
do something bigger and higher than yourself.
Change the narrative.
Yeah.
You better get another song in your head.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Get another song in your head.
Get another song in your
Hashtag
head.
that. And so we see the superhero, all right? So Claude she's climbed up the mountain. She's gone on this 93-day journey experience, and she's discovered herself. She's changing her narrative. The world has opened up to you. And so talk to us about the challenge, the antagonist, right? As you're going through your careers, as you would, right? So you've kind of had the self-discovery. You're entering into the working world. You're navigating through. What would you say, metaphorically, was that arch nemesis, that thing that raises its ugly head, an obstacle that you feel that you had to overcome? And then we'll talk about you discovering your superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Shame, man. Shame, which is fear. Right?
Yeah.
Shame. It's such a killer, and I carried it for so long.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. If on my last breath, if I could help someone or some people remove the shame from their worlds, I will have had a very, very happy life.
Yeah.
Shame's a killer, and shame held me down by my ankles, even though I was rising, ascending, becoming that phoenix.
Yeah.
It dragged me down because I had done things in my life I wasn't proud of. I had allowed things to happen I wasn't proud of. I didn't pick up the phone at times.
Yeah.
And so that just followed me around like a shadow for a while. And I think that's what shame does until you can rid yourself of it and forgive yourself. Dang, that is deep, but it is true.
Rid yourself and forgive yourself. I think it's a key point to be able to recognize and call it out, right? This is the thing, right? Because a lot of times folks try to avoid it. Like, there's a sense of like, okay, something is holding me back, but I don't want to call it out. I don't want to say its name, right? And honor it or have it grow. But I think the cool thing that you're sharing is that awareness to recognize what that thing is and then forgive yourself, right? You talked about other people are thinking about you. Other people are, have you at the center, and they can forgive you and they can extend grace. It's hard for ourselves to extend grace to ourselves.
So hard.
Yeah,
it's
that's crazy.
It's an oxymoron. We look in the mirror every single day, and what you want to say is like, all right, I got this today.
Yeah.
But instead, in those moments, you're like, you suck. And it's you telling yourself you suck. There's no other poison that is as great as that.
Yeah.
And we got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of that, especially for the generation right now that was hooked on social. And they're not looking at themselves, they're looking at other people. They're comparing,
exactly.
Yeah, and being like, oh, you doubly suck.
Yeah. So we have, so the superhero Claude has come out. She's navigating the world. She's self-discovery, and then this ugly, sinister shame shows up, right? It's bringing you down. As you're growing, it's pulling you down. As you're ascending, it's pulling down. And so what is your superpower? Like, you discover something about yourself that this is what made Claude a badass, right? Like, I crush this, and we start to get into our flow and we attack the same. So what is Claude's superpower?
It's got to be empathy.
Empathy.
And intuition.
Okay.
And I think intuition comes before empathy.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to a lot of 12-step meetings in my life. And you go into those meetings and you look around the room and you realize you're not alone. Not only do you realize you're not alone, you realize, oh, you don't have it that bad. And so you start to extend grace to another. You start to help them forgive themselves because you're just thinking it. And so being in those rooms and being in Outward Bound and being in, all kinds of things I did. I had I ran a surfing company for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, I love to be with the mess.
Yeah.
Now that I know how to deal with my own mess,
Yeah.
it's really easy for me to be with someone else's mess.
Yeah.
And that takes empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy for me is being a passenger. It's not putting your shoes on my feet. I'm never going to know what your lived experience is like.
Yeah.
You're never going to know what mine's like. But having the patience to say, hey, I wonder what that's like, what you're dealing with right now. Can I ride shotgun with you? I'm not going to take it on. I have good boundaries now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it on. But, you know, I see that you're in pain, and I got your back.
Yeah.
That's the key. I got your back. You're safe with me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll be your island if you need someplace to swim to.
Yeah.
That does not take anything out of me to say to you, because it's genuine.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't lose a percentage of my self-worth by giving that to you just now. I gained.
Yeah. So empathy, intuition, being a passenger in somebody's journey as they're going through this. How would you say you implement that? You're the chief heart officer at a global creative media advertising company, Vayner Media. How do your superpowers carry over to the work that you do here in essentially leading the people aspect of the business?
Yeah.
How does that show up for you?
Exactly what we just did. I hold space for people.
Okay.
This is not the Claude show. Right now it might be.
Yeah.
But this isn't the Claude show. When someone comes into the office or on Zoom, this is their time.
Yeah.
We are creating and holding space for them.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to say. I'm not the judge and jury.
Yeah.
You want to tell me this, that, the other, whatever. You're safe with me.
Yeah.
So I want to be a passenger with them and then help them. Obviously we're in a workplace.
Yeah.
Help connect them to something or someone that is going to help them start to rise up. I mean, this is a place where I'm very clear on the mission.
Yeah.
The mission is to become the single greatest human organization in the history of time. That's what Gary has said.
Yeah.
Aspirational, sign me up.
Yeah.
My job description is to touch every single human being and infuse the agency with empathy.
Yeah.
How do I do that? How do I show up? I make sure that I'm leaving someone better than I found them.
Yeah.
I'm being that person that other people want in the room. How do I know? Because I can walk in a room and I can see. I'm not on my phone busy. I got time. I'm accessible. I'm available. And I really want you to thrive here. I want you to listen, I'm giving you psychological safety so that you do the same with other people and provide that sense of belonging. I don't need you to shape shift into me. God knows I'm me. I got it. But I want to help you become a champion of your own life. I do. And I wanted to be a psychologist for a very, very, very long time.
And that's what you got your degrees in, right?
Yeah. And I realized there was another way to do that. And that is by being of joyful service wherever I am. Teaching someone how to surf, same exact thing. Teaching someone how to hit a tennis ball, same exact thing. Being patient with my kids, having hard conversations here. People about their development, their growth, the fact that they're a bully, hey, why do you feel the need to, micromanage that person? What's up? What's going on for you? Those types of things. And that takes intuition. And that takes compassion and kindness. And that is a wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And all of that can exist with ambition and success. That's the amazing thing. It's not all mushy-gushy rainbows. It's like, no, we're running a business and we're fierce.
They're not mutually exclusive, like you can have both,
But we believe, Gary and I believe, that if you give 51% over here, 49% over here, we call this the honey, this is the empire, that 1% difference makes this place
100%.
what it is.
100%. Honey in the empire. Look, and one of the things that we want to do with this series is, again, what is humanly possible? How can you go from where you are to where you want to be and really break those barriers, break those limiting beliefs, and give folks the tools and the skills to be able to unlock what's possible for them. And so as you have gone through this hero's journey, you figured out early days what was holding you back and how to kind of self-discover, find other options, connecting with other people. You understand what that obstacle or nemesis is, right? Calling it shame, all right? How do we deal with that? How do we overcome it? And how do we deploy empathy? How do we deploy intuition? what I would love to do is if we can teach that, right? So we're talking about talent acquisition, right? So before folks come on to an organization, when folks are in the organization, we want to keep them, right? So how does that get deployed in retention? And how does that get deployed in development, right? How do we not just keep them, but grow them? So could you talk to us really quickly about how those things can be deployed in onboarding, talent acquisition, talent retention, and talent development?
1,000%. And those are the three things that we pay so much attention to, right? Growth mindset, communication, accountability, leadership, and we double down on all of those things. I mean, obviously, we're in talent acquisition, we're spending so much time with people. By the time they come here, we know who they are. We've hired that person. We want you to show up. We don't want you to feel like you need to code switch or change your stripes, right? We want that person. I changed the way we hired 7 years ago. No longer culture fit.
Okay.
Skill set fit, culture addition.
Culture addition.
Culture addition, which allows us to look for people that don't look like me, don't look like you. They look however they look. They come with curiosities and abilities that I'll never have, right? And so by the time they come here, we've had this relationship. We trust them first. You do not need to prove yourself first. You trust. Every single person goes through a 3-day orientation where they sit with a CFO if we just hired a CFO. So it's a copywriter and a C-suite person. Whoa, I'm sitting with a C-suite person. No, everything is flat. Flat, flat, flat. We want you to feel just as important as this person and that person. And it's not only important that you matter. That's very, very different.
Mattering,
So we swarm them with info. This is how we think. This is why we feel. This is why it's called the Honey Empire. This is why you got a chief heart officer. This is why we got a CEO that really works for us. Then we get them in the door and they go on to onboarding on their specific teams and whatnot. Our secret sauce is high touch. And I said it a little while ago, I'm accessible and available always. So are all of our leaders. And who did we learn that from? Our CEO, who's accessible and available all the time. I got all the time in the world for you. People are like, Claude, you don't have any time. I'm like, you're just as busy, if not as busier,
even
right?
More,
So spending time with people, grooming, finding out what is lighting them up. Not only here, outside. They want to be a music producer? Sweet. Well, we got stuff to do here. You want to go work for Netflix? Great. We're going to introduce you. You want to start NFT? Wonderful. It's all here. Like, this is a powerful place. And so retaining them, making sure that we are giving them the training and the development, also making sure DE&I is huge for us, that they can see themselves in 12 years, 7 years, making sure that there's representation. Huge. And that's the retainment part. Now, when someone leaves, either they leave on their own accord or we let them go, we have an alumni program. We get tons of CMOs asking us, hey, can you give us a social strategist? Can you give us this? Hey, this person didn't make it here, but they're a great, great person and will be a high performer there. So we guarantee everyone an introduction. Can't get you a job, we can introduce you.
That's wild.
And that, we care, man. We care. And there's no other organization I've ever worked in that cares for the human. And one of the reasons I never went into HR is because I didn't get HR. In fact, I changed the name to people and experience, right? HR means nothing to me. HR never helped me. They never were like, Claude, are you dyslexic? Here, let's give you a tool. Here, I'm like, I'm dyslexic. Who wants a tool? You know what I mean? I'm gay. Who wants to start a pride channel with me? Like, I've never felt so me here. And I want other people to feel that they can be themselves. And Brene Brown says, true belonging doesn't require you to change yourself. It only requires you to be who you are. It's our job, the company, to embrace you. And this takes a lot of cycles. It's not utopia here. Not everyone's got it. Everyone's searching and they're in different parts. And just because I had my Phoenix rising doesn't mean I haven't fallen down since. I fall down all the time. But I now know how to rise quicker. And I want to teach people that.
Oh my goodness. The two things that stuck out to me in there that gave me goosebumps, I don't know if the camera will pick up on it, but culture addition. So from a talent acquisition standpoint, I was literally just having a conversation about this probably yesterday or the day before with some of the folks on my team at my 9 to 5 about culture. And somebody in a leadership development session had said, you shouldn't hire for culture fit. You should actually I think it's called like culture non-fit or something like that, but culture addition
Yeah.
is good because you always want to be changing and evolving and developing, as opposed to, hey, we're happy with where we're at from a culture standpoint,
Yeah.
and you need to fit into what that is, versus having somebody bring their unique perspective, their unique value, and change what that culture looks like, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and we want to learn from you.
Yeah.
You know, we've got this incredible guy in London who's got a terrible stammer. Terrible stammer. What I have learned from him when I speak with him is more than I learned from the average bear. Because the patience that I need to deploy to wait and understand what he's about to say, and I want to be fully present for him. I also got to go, right? Nope. What do you got to say to me? Let's go. He's got his own podcast too.
I love that, and he must feel so honored, right? Because there's always that, whatever that nemesis that he's probably facing that always presents itself as like, no, in this space I can be who I am without fear or judgment, and the patience that you deploy to do that. And then the fact that even after folks leave, right? You have the before they come, the retention while they're here, but the service and the heart even after that. You may have not made it here, but we are going to help you get set up, or at least make the introduction. Like that whole life cycle is just, that's caring in action. Like I've never seen that. That is awesome.
We care.
Yeah.
We care. People that leave the company and they write me back, oh gosh, I thought the grass was going to be greener. Can I come back? Well, I don't know if they can come back, but I'll certainly have a convo with them.
Oh my gosh.
It's awesome to be in a place that is constantly in this cycle of kind of reinvention in a way, because we shed skin quickly, quickly, and that's what you want to do. That's how you get rid of shame. That's how you get rid of all that negativity that you're carrying, is you allow that to wash away, get new skin, wash away, get new skin. I mean, it's very metaphorical, but you know, the thing about culture fit that's so dangerous is, again, I mean, what? So you like Dave Matthews and I like Dave Matthews? I don't know if you can do the job. And I don't know if you really want to be here, right? We can groove on and we can jam. But that is just going to get us like apples and apples and apples. So we have an entire company that likes Dave Matthews. Well, that's boring. Who's got some John Coltrane?
Let's go.
Right? You know?
Let's get some Zig and Marley.
Got some AC/DC.
Exactly. Let's rock it out. So thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up, and I want to ask you this question is, what have you found, what did you previously think was impossible that you have now found to be possible?
That is deep. Patience is a big one. And when I talk about patience, I mean the long game. I was a person that didn't give myself options in the beginning. I didn't think I had potential, so I didn't line anything up to chase or to work towards. Here, I've been here 9 years. That's a lifetime for me. I have learned how to play the long game as well as the short game. But you play the short game in order to play the long game. And so Gary has taught me an enormous amount about, you know what, 2025, we're going to nail that. It takes the pressure off of me in 2023, or it takes the pressure off of Bob or Johnny. And so we'll get there. Let's keep our eyes on the prize. I think that's a huge one for me. And I also think there's something to say about, tolerance and resilience. Like, this is a job where I always have to be the bigger person. This is the job where I always have to take accountability. Anything that happens with a person and their experience here ultimately is on these shoulders. So I need to be very aware of what's going on and step in and just be like, okay, that's my bad. Let's move on. That's a really big point. That's like, okay, I take accountability. Let's move on. That is now in the past. And that is where it's going to stay. And don't go fishing for it. Like, hey, remember that thing from? It's like, let's keep that where it's at. So we appreciate you, Claude. Again, the story, the victory, the discovery, and the tools, the skills that folks are going to be able to take from this and overcome shame if they're going through shame. Be able to lean into that self-discovery, deploy patience and empathy.
And I think as professionals are thinking about it, people professionals, whether it's HR or talent acquisition or talent development, hey, what are some ways that I can do this before folks come onto the organization to create these spaces for them? How can I leverage technology, right? There's this huge influx of AI and all these different things of different learnings. How can I infuse that into how folks come on? How do I deploy that in how we keep folks, and how even after they're gone, right? Like how do we continue to support folks in that, because it leaves it's part of the brand, right? It's part of the brand for the organization.
It's part of the brand for the organization. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we want to be on the right side of history.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Claude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was an amazing story.